All right, guys, we are back getting ready to go into Game 5. We are basically at a best of 3 right now because the score is 2-2. Symbol, after falling down 0-2, has now stormed back. Stormed back, even though he doesn't play
like
Protoss.
Storm and X-Men.
Like Storm and X-Men. Yeah, it's 2-2 right now. And we have Crossfire.
Crossfire!
An old school map. Not sure why it's still played. We actually played Crossfire in NASL Season 1.
Yeah.
You know what game I remember on Crossfire, like, specifically stands out to me?
Well, give me the matchup, and then I'll tell you.
PVT.
PVT. In Control versus... No, it wasn't him.
If you're thinking of the same game as me, it'll be very, very weird.
Okay, PVT. What week was it played?
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
PVT playoffs. I have no clue.
TT1 versus Nada, Game 1. Where he was up. He had this huge advantage, and he just threw it away and lost the game, and then he ended up losing 1-2.
I remember TT1 versus Nada on this map in the GSL Super Tournament.
Where TT1 was victorious.
Was victorious.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, he was a dung.
Yes.
Just kidding. Okay, I throw this around. TT1 and me are probably, like, best friends. Literally. We are, like, top friends in the scene. Like, he's probably top friends. Like,
of all the other
top
friends.
5 right there, dude.
TT1 is his GM friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Grandmaster.
In the Gretorp book, he is my GM friend. So it just stinks because that's how we always talk to each other. You're trash. You're trash. It's all fun and games. Just to clarify, ladies and gentlemen, because I throw around TT1's name like it's a doll of raggish proportions.
Yes. TT1 is actually in Germany right now. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
He is training with Damaga, and he's at the Type 2 house, I believe, with Damaga and a couple of his other teammates, and he is practicing pretty hardcore for IPL. He's skipping out on MLG, and he's just focusing on IPL.
I'm going to see him there.
Yes, me too. Oh my god. I will wish him luck. Anyways, let's talk about this game. We do see another proxied barracks. 2 of them.
This time around, we went spawning pool first. Now, when you see a spawning pool first, what this basically says is I have to play very accurate and know exactly what my opponent is doing. If I make too many drones, I can die to an all-in or any sort of pressure. It's very easy to do that because you are behind in your larva count. If I go too many Zerglings, I'm going to be behind in economy. So that's why it's very safe. It gives you the capability to be very safe against a lot of different all-ins. However, you have to be very accurate because it's very easy to get a or lose an advantage in this early game stage.
Yes, sir, but we are seeing some pressure applied by both players. A little skirmish in the middle of the map. CSL Symbol definitely getting the worst of it. Ryung killed two Zerglings in that exchange. A third one is almost dead, and Ryung is slowly pushing across the map with a small group of Marines. Meanwhile, Symbol is crawling a spine crawler across the map, going to try to land that, or root it, I should say, at the newly finished natural expansion. And yeah, looks like all those initial Zerglings did get taken out. Ryung is taking a fast expansion, so I mean, not really much going on here, except for the fact that Symbol did lose 150 minerals of Zerglings, but I think he bought himself some valuable time, so it wasn't a terrible trade. Yeah,
this is going to be a big thing right here. If Ryung actually pushes forward, this might be pretty bad considering how many Zerglings are out on the field or are about to be out on the field. You can see in the units tab 14 Zerglings to 9 Marines.
Looks like Symbol's kind of going for a little bit of a
I'm not
all-in type.
Oh god, no, these Marines. And he's going to lose all of them. That's going to basically forfeit map control. You want to keep them as best as possible. You can see a shock squadron of Zerglings are going to come over here. 4 Zerglings against 2 Marines. It does favor the 4 Zerglings. We'll see how good Ryung's micro is, as a couple more Marines are going to back up here. Nice micro from both these players, but you can see no Marines
Lots
actually.
Lots of Zerglings out, though, from Symbol. 18.
Oh, yeah. And this is basically going to force his opponent to be a little bit more Marine heavy. What Ryung wants to do, he normally transitions, or Terrence would normally transition into gas. You want to get your gas up and going as fast as possible. You can see the gas is up, so I guess overall he's been okay. Not a lot of damage has been done so far. So I don't have a big problem with either of these players. I think, if anything, Zerg might be behind, even though those those Marines.
Yeah,
were
his
driven
tech
away.
is very far behind. We see double factories coming from Ryung right now, which is something we haven't seen yet in any of these games. So I'm gonna be pretty interested to see what he does there. I don't know if he's gonna go for like double reactor Hellions, if he plans on throwing down a third factory and going for a very heavy mech style play. I'm very interested to see what he's gonna do from that point. Now, one Overlord did get taken out. Again, not really too big, but importantly, Symbol scouted that double factory, and I think that it was definitely worth losing an Overlord to find out that he is going double factory. Tech Lab is coming, so it looks like Ryung is going to be going mech this game, and I'm pretty excited to see that, because we haven't seen this style from him yet.
Well, it could be a lot of different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be mech. It could be just, you know, standard Hellion pressure, and then you go into something like two factory siege tanks. It's very powerful. It allows you to obviously have a crushing push, and on a map like Crossfire, it's actually really good. You can see all these little tiny chokes. It makes it very hard, and you bottleneck your units, so flanking becomes ever so hard, and then your siege tanks get empowered that way. On top of that, what this also does is kind of relinquishes the need to get so many medevacs. Or you don't really need medevacs because the power of your push is a little bit stronger than normal. So you can actually go from there. These Marines seem slightly darker, don't they? The Marines?
A little bit.
They seem slightly darker. I don't know.
But a third
Very
command
grim.
center is coming from Ryung in addition to 2 barracks. So Ryung is going for a very, very fast. He's probably going to get a third orbital and just use that for the SCV production and the additional mule, and then he's going to take a delayed third. And yes, you are indeed correct. Looks like we're not going to really be seeing mech, because we do see 2 additional barracks being produced. Blue Flame is almost done.
Yeah, he's going for Starport, which is kind of interesting. Now Blue Flame is finished.
Yep, and Symbol did scout that out.
Yes, and Combat Shields is finished. So this is a very common type of aggression. You go Blue Flame Hellion, 2 shots Zerglings.
Yeah,
really
I think
nice.
Symbol is in a pretty good spot though. He does have 3 spine crawlers set up in a pretty nice wall, and he has quite a bit of Zerglings, and his spire is going to be done shortly.
It'll be tough.
I don't think so. I don't think Ryung is going to be able to do too much damage here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Ryung, maybe if he is able to push kind of across, but with those 3...
Oh, man, these Marines are getting caught off guard.
Where are you, Hellions?
Yeah.
Not doing your job.
No, they're not. The Hellions were just caught completely out of position, but 9 Mutalisks are in production in addition to +1 flyer attack.
Yeah, those 3 spine crawlers are the key units that are actually keeping them safe.
Yep.
Normally, these types of timings work out very nicely for Terran because you force your opponent to make a lot more units, but you can see Symbol, because he has gone for that spawning pool first, he had a lot of excess Zerglings in that beginning stage, so he didn't really have to make too many more. And with those 3 spine crawlers, you're able to stabilize much easier. A lot of times, if you didn't have, let's see, you only had 1, well, Marines would push in, and then those Hellions would just cover. It would be very easy, but you can't really tank 3 spine crawlers worth of damage against just straight up Marines. So the Mutalisks are able to come out unhindered, and you can see they're doing a little bit of damage here. The turret looks like it's going to be taken out, not before it actually takes out a single Naruto. Nice
Now,
job.
actually, Ryung is he was ahead in the worker count until this harass came out. Really great Meta Micro from Symbol, though.
Oh yeah, very StarCraft 1-esque.
Yeah, he's controlling these incredibly well. And meanwhile, he's taking a 3rd base, which is exactly what you want to do. He scouts out the 3rd command center, so he kind of sees what's up right now.
Yes. And what this 3rd command center implies is that, yes, he will power off in a little bit. Of course, that extra mule does help quite a lot. Additionally, the extra SCV is really, really fast. Makes the mutas actually a lot weaker. It's kind of weird to say it, but you're able to gain up a lot of SCVs pretty quickly. So
wow, nice micro by Symbol.
Yes, indeed.
Very impressive by our TSL Zerg player. And a small push of Hellions is trying to kill some Zerglings, which they do, but the Mutalisks are chasing them out. The Hellions are going to be getting away, though. They do run faster than Mutalisks.
Yeah, a little bit off. The Bandling Nest isn't up, but Mutas are the ones that are going to force all of these units back. That's what he wants to do. The Mutas normally have this role. You basically say, don't move out. If you ever move out, I'm going to harass you. I'm going to harass the crap out of you as well. So you can see all these exposed points, especially these 2 reactors. Those are going to be probably the main point of contention.
Oh, wow. He's probably going to be able to get these tanks.
Does he get
he's
one?
not.
No, he's going to back out from here. That's the correct decision. I like it.
Yep. Now, luckily for Symbol, he does have these Mutalisks, so he's kind of able to get away with getting that late Baneling nest because the Mutalisks are keeping Ryung penned in his base. But Ryung is taking this time to go push out, which I like. He has the Hellions, he has Siege Tanks, he has Marines, he has pretty good composition right now, and he feels confident that he can push now. And, you know, Symbol can't go harass with the Mutalisks right now because he doesn't have enough ground forces to deal with Ryung's army, so he has to be very, very careful with what he does now.
And how you beat this with so many Hellions out in the field, you need a lot of Banelings, and you need speed.
And here comes 15.
15, but is it going to be enough? You can see this counterattack is just threatening units back all the way. The third in the top left-hand corner is going to be focused down, not going to stay for much longer. But the way Symbol can get back into this is punish his opponent. Make sure that all of those units do not leave and go back all the way home. If he can do that, then I think he will be in a great position. Obviously, trading that 300 minerals for 300 minerals and potential mining type for all of those units is a great particular position.
I don't know.
I don't know if he can do that.
Yeah, I feel a little iffy about this. It looks like Symbol wants to go for a counterattack, and I don't agree with that decision. I don't think he can be effective with a counterattack right now.
I don't either.
Because Ryung is just entrenched so heavily over here at the natural expansion. I mean, Ryung can't take his third, but at the same time, Symbol has yet to take third as well because he just lost it.
There he goes to remake the third in the mid-right-hand position, but honestly, I'm not sure why Symbol isn't trying to target down all these units. They are going to be able to connect pretty soon. They will connect. All Ryung has to do is get back and go up that ramp, and he's fine. And once he does that, that's going to be pretty much the nail in the coffin. Yeah,
his army composition and his army count is much higher than Symbol's right now. It's 5,000 minerals to 3,600 right now. So Symbol is in a little bit of trouble for some random reason. I mean, it's not like he's done anything particularly bad, but for some reason it just seems like he hasn't been macroing very well. And his Mutalisks are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
See,
ooh, 2 tanks get taken out. Not bad, actually.
No, not bad at all. And
yeah, a little sloppy by Ryung. Symbol does have to retreat right now. If you look at the unit counting station, 16 Mutalisks, 15 Banelings, 75 Zerglings right now. And, you know, Ryung does now have the entrenched third base, and a small drop over there by the third of Symbol gets taken out. The hatchery almost got killed, still 300 HP remaining on that. Ryung is pushing again, but it looks like Symbol is catching him at a pretty decent position.
Oh, God.
Except the Banelings are funneling right into nowhere. They're just running past a lot of stuff. A Thor gets taken out, and Symbol somehow did much better in that attack than I think he should have.
I don't know, it's a little bit debatable with that. The fourth base in the top left-hand corner is going to be canceled, but I have to say with the
I still think Ryung has an advantage right now.
Yeah, he has a giant advantage, actually. Just because his opponent has been able to saturate his third base. You can see this base over here, a lot of spine crawlers going to be popped up. But at this point, I mean, you lose a ton of your mutas. A lot of them are damaged with the Thor out in the field. Of course, Thor has that splash damage. It basically, kills a ton.
Oh God, so many drones getting killed. And yeah, this third is going to get taken out. And here comes a counterattack by Symbol, but his units are very, very nicely positioned. Ryung was very, very nicely positioned. He is going to lose. He's going to have to float this command center.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't really matter that much for Ryung because he still has a pretty good advantage.
No, you just go ahead and lift off and you're fine. Your recharge in these expansions are a lot faster than your opponent if you keep the orbital command centers alive, but
this looks like this orbital is going to get taken out.
Yeah, it will die. You can see it's actually
not going to die. Or it is going to die. Yes, it is. I wish Symbol would be upgrading his mutas more, especially because he's still committed to building a lot more mutas. He should be going to like 2-0, 2-1, even 2 Spires, and double upgrading his mutas would be pretty good right now, because right now it's 1-0 against 1-1. If he had 2-2 mutalisks, or, you know, 1-1 or 2-0 right now, they would be much more potent, especially because he has so many, 21, and he's getting up to 24 very, very short.
I don't know about 2 Spires, but I would definitely agree that continuing upgrading is probably the way to go. Of course, when you're going this muta heavy, not upgrading, not investing in your upgrades is probably the worst thing you could do, just because, you know, it's like a 100-100 upgrade or 175-100.
Oh, here comes a counterattack.
And you're affecting, what is that, 20 different units, 30 different units. Oh man, big magic box over these Marines, but he's losing a ton of mutas in this. And this is his whole advantage. He has to be so careful. More Marines are going to funnel down in here. Is it worth it to actually sacrifice the mutas for Thor and a couple of Marines? No, it isn't. No. It definitely is not. Let's look at that unit tab.
He lost 6 mutalisks in that exchange, and that really wasn't worth it. He killed about 600 minerals worth of Terran, but, you know, it was just really one Thor. The Marines are easily replaceable.
Yes.
And so it's basically 6 mutas for a Thor, and that's just not a very good trade at all.
And the siege tank count is high enough where he doesn't really have to worry about the amount of banelings that are out in the field. He can just, you know, relax. Basically, it empowers those Marines. That's the big deal.
Here comes a big counterattack of mutas in the main, but there's only 17 mutalisks remaining. It's probably going to be able to take down this factory.
Thor is here, sir.
Yes, but Thor is here, so Symbol does have to retreat. He can't afford another 6-to-1 trade. And Symbol is basically getting close to mined out. He's only at 1 mining base, and that natural expansion is very, very dry. He's trying to retake that third again, but it's not looking good for him, and Ryung is sitting here with a pretty good amount of units.
Uh-oh. Ryung needs to be careful. He doesn't have all his Marines over here, so these siege tanks are kind of exposed.
Oh, he's going to run into me. Oh, goodness.
And both these players are just trying to see where they can just push on their aggression.
Oh, here comes a drop at the third, and Symbol has to cancel once again.
Pushing.
You know, losing 75 minerals at this stage in the game is actually pretty big. You know, and Symbol only has 1 mining base. It represents a pretty good portion of his available minerals, and you can't just keep affording to cancel this hatchery over and over. He needs to establish that base very, very soon. And Ryung, on the other hand, has his own third established. What Symbol should be doing right now is just sending a counterattack of Lings, which it looks like he's gearing up to do just that. Ryung kind of knows what's going on. He's sending units down there very quickly, and here we go. He's establishing a nice little wall, so Symbol's not going to be able to get in.
Well done.
And Symbol is catching these Marines.
Nope. Marines are catching the Zerglings.
Yep.
And you can see the meter count has risen yet again. Let's go ahead and look at that units
27.
tab. 23.
Oh, he lost 4.
Oh, geez, that fast. And they're going to come in here, but with the Thor and Marine power, that's like a composition you never want to go up against.
And he's just running past the turrets right now.
Yeah, and as you said, the upgrades, we're going to go back to that 2-2 against, what, 1-0? Not really a
Right. I mean, the mutas can't do anything to this army right now. If he had 2-2 mutas right now, and he had about 30 of them, you know, Ryung would not be in a very good position. But, oh, wow, he's just Congo lining his drones. Symbol GG's. So Ryung has retaken the lead, 3-2. It's now game point.
Yeah, and if we look back at that game in particular, we saw a lot of weird things, but in general, the muta harass was just not enough. I think this day and age, we've seen TVZ kind of shift away from muta Zergling Baneling.
Right.
And for that very reason, it's still a powerful composition. Don't get me wrong. It has worked quite a bit in the past, but what's happening is people are understanding that, hey, your muta aggression, I can just, kind of play a little bit more defensive, power on my economy, and get good turret placement. And when I do that, really start to invest in upgrades in my Marines, they're able to deal with your mutas, and they have far less power when you go farther into the game.
Yeah, I think upgrades were very key there, and just Symbol never looked comfortable. Ryung kind of played that map very well, and let's just take a quick break. Let's get into Game 6 and see if Ryung can take it home or if Symbol can force a deciding Game 7. We'll be back in just a minute.